Hello, my name is Tyler Stans, and this is what's playing tonight. So I've been watching every single live-action Spider-Man movie in the lead-up to Spider-Man No Way Home, and we're finally here. This is the moment that I've been waiting for. This is the moment that a lot of people have been waiting for. Spider-Man No Way Home is out. I have seen the movie, and I'm here to talk about it. So since this is a new movie, a brand new movie with a lot of spoilerific stuff in it, I'm going to start off without spoilers at first, before I dive into it. And don't worry, I will be sure to give a proper warning before I start talking about spoilers. So, as far as I'm concerned, anything that was in the trailers is fair game. If you don't want that at all, go watch the movie. But let's go ahead and get into it. I really, really liked this movie. I think this is easily the best Spider-Man movie that has taken place in the MCU. I think that this is one of the best performances that Tom Holland has given. I think Zendaya is great. I think Jacob Batalon is great, and all the returning villains do an amazing job. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can say, because to get into the real nitty-gritty, I'm going to have to spoil this. So at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home, Peter's identity is revealed to the world by Mysterio, who has framed him for his murder, and everybody believes him. Well, about half and half, 50-50 believe him. So Peter gets into some legal issues at first, which gave me my first hype moment of the movie, Charlie Cox returning as Matt Murdock from Netflix's Daredevil TV show. And I can't express just how happy I am to see him again, because that Daredevil show on Netflix is easily one of the best superhero TV shows that I've ever watched. And to see him again in the MCU, that's just so cool. But that has nothing to do with the movie. It's just a cool moment. Let's get to what's going on. So naturally, Peter is feeling a little bit stressed out because everybody knows that he's Spider-Man now. And also it is affecting the people closest to him in his life, MJ and Ned, from getting into the school that they want to get into. So Peter goes to seek help from Dr. Strange, who casts a spell to make everyone in the world forget that he's Spider-Man. Now, Peter kind of says yes without thinking, and things go wrong. Peter tries to change the spell, and eventually the spell kind of gets out of control, and Dr. Strange has to contain it. So he contains the spell, and everything seems to be all right. Well, that's where our villains come in. Transported into the Marvel Cinematic Universe are Alfred Molina's Dr. Octopus, Willem Dafoe's Norman Osborn, Jamie Foxx's Electro, Rhys Ifans' Lizard, and Thomas Hayden Church's Sandman. So I remember hearing that Alfred Molina was going to be in the movie, and then Jamie Foxx were going to be in the movie playing Electro and Dr. Octopus. And I didn't quite know what that meant at the time, because I don't think the whole multiverse stuff had been announced. The only multiverse stuff we got was in Far From Home, which ended up being fake. But the more and more things got announced, the more excited I began to get. And I was not disappointed. I think that Alfred Molina kills it just as much as he did in Spider-Man 2. He's just a great actor, and he really gets into this character. Same thing with Willem Dafoe. The VIP villain in this movie, he is so unhinged as the Green Goblin. It's a joy to watch, and he's actually frightening for the first time, I think. And they ditched that dumb costume from the Raimi movie pretty early on. It was cool to see it, and I think it actually does look better than it did in the original Spider-Man, but no disrespect to Willem Dafoe at all. His face already, when he makes those weird, creepy, crazy facial expressions, he looks like a damn goblin. So they, rightfully so, they ditch it. As for Jamie Foxx, yeah, he's a lot better in this movie than he was in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. If I have to criticize the villains at all, is that Lizard and Sandman don't really have much of a big part in this movie. And I understand that. There's two villains that are getting super spotlight. One that's getting medium, and then naturally they don't have time to give everyone the same amount of screen time and spotlight. So Peter needs to round up these villains. Doctor Strange tells him to do this and capture them, and he does capture them, and he brings them back to the Sanctum Sanctorum, where Doctor Strange is prepared to send them back until Peter finds out that they all died originally. So Peter gets the bright idea to cure them of their various afflictions. Yeah, like turning Lizard back into Kurt Connors, curing the Sandman, who seems to be stuck in sand now. He doesn't want to send them back only to die. And I think this is a good, maybe misguided decision on Peter's part, but I like that the writers wrote him as a sympathetic hero, or maybe empathetic is the more correct word. Peter doesn't want to kill these guys. He doesn't want to be a killer. He's a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He's a genuinely good person. So he's not down with sending all these people back to their death. Now, the unfortunate thing is that these villains don't want to die, but they really don't want to be cured either, or sent back in some of their cases. Electro finds that he is more sexy, I guess, in the MCU. He's not blue, and he likes the feeling of the energy. He just looks like Jamie Foxx and gets to act like Jamie Foxx. They've stopped trying to make him not cool. So these villains end up turning against Peter, and this leads to the tragic death of Marissa Tomei's Aunt May, which I have to admit did make me really sad. It was sad to see her go. She ends up being the one who gives Peter the "with great power there must also come great responsibility" speech, which is a nice touch, because that is how it was originally written in the comic. Not "with great power comes great responsibility." It's always been "with great power there must also come great responsibility." Now, if you're not a nerd, you don't care about stuff like that, but well, look at me. So Peter's feeling down on his luck. Doctor Strange can't help him because he was against the whole curing the villain plot in the first place, so Peter locked him in the mirror dimension. And who does that bring in? I know I put spoilers up for this, but this is the worst kept secret in Hollywood of this year anyway. We get to see our boys Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield reprising their roles as Peter Parker from the Raimi trilogy and Peter Parker from the Amazing duology. And this is, I think, where the best parts of the movie are. The interactions between the three Spider-Men are just great. You get comparisons on events. You get comparisons on villains that they have fought. Of course, Tom and Andrew are in awe of Tobey's organic web shooters, and they're asking all about that. It's just great stuff, and it makes for a very visually stunning fight at the end of the movie, where the three Spider-Men have to take on these 5 villains. Well, 4, because Dr. Octopus kind of turns good before the rest of them do. And what I really like about this is that through their teamwork, they succeed. The 3 Spider-Men end up curing these villains, and they even cure crazy Norman Osborn. I kind of like that they set out to do this plan, and they end up not killing any of the villains. Tom's Peter is basically stopped from being a killer through the guidance of Andrew and Toby. And I really liked that. And then the ending gets really depressing. Because Willem Dafoe, because the Green Goblin ended up bombing the device that was going, the magical device that was going to send them back, Strange has to stop the spell from going out of control again. But Tom's Peter gets up there and he basically introduces a new idea to Strange where he can make everybody forget that Peter Parker ever existed, and that will stop the spell in the first place. So this happens. We get a very emotional goodbye from everybody involved. All of a sudden, nobody knows who Peter is. He's studying for his GED. He's now making his home, like a homemade suit, which looks great. It looks ripped straight off of old comics. And people are finally going to get the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man without any guidance from a Marvel character that they've always wanted. I think this movie does a lot of great things. I really like the interactions between all the Spider-Men. I like the villains interacting with themselves and with our heroes, and I like how they're not just all psychopaths. Really, only Norman is. I think that Michael Giacchino is done some of his best work for the score for this movie, including incorporating themes from the previous two Spider-Man franchises. I really think that this might not only be the best MCU Spider-Man movie, this is one of the best Spider-Man movies ever made. In fact, oh man, I don't know if I would put, I can't do the ranking this time because I don't know if I like this movie better than Spider-Man 2 or not. It's either number 1 or it's number 2 for me. And that's without even throwing Spider-Verse into the mix. So I guess be on the lookout for a Spider-Man ranking video sometime in the future. Not anytime soon because I'm kind of sick of talking about Spider-Man, but I'll go back to that well someday. I give Spider-Man No Way Home 4 ties out of 4. I loved every minute of it. It has a lot of fan service, but I don't think that the fan service is distracting from the quality of the movie. Thank you so much for watching the video, everyone. I really appreciate it. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like me, consider subscribing and clicking that bell icon. And comment down below and let me know what you thought of the movie. Try to keep it spoiler-free, everybody, just in case someone scrolls down to the comments. And I'll see you guys next time. This is sort of the season finale of What's Playing Tonight, the last video of 2021. But don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. In fact, we're going to come back strong after the new year. And I'm going to try and change things up a little bit. And you guys will see what that means later. Until next time. I'm Tyler Stans. This is What's Playing Tonight, and have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.